This is MXUX. There's some news from Lordstown. Let's take a look. Okay, we got January 28th at 9 p.m. So we got the 29th right now. This is being recorded. Pre-production units are rolling off the assembly line at Lordstown. The automaker posted on his Facebook page on Friday that due to the collaboration with Foxconn, pre-production vehicles are rolling off the assembly line. Okay, this is on the NASDAQ website, January 26th, which is yesterday, publish. And this is Ben Kleiman out of Detroit. Anyway, said on Wednesday, it removed, Lordstown has removed pricing and vehicle specification details from its corporate website. Okay, so I'm going to show you that in a minute. But anyway, this is the news. They're redesigning the website. And the main thing is, other than the price and the specs being gone, they had a comparison to the F-150 ICE vehicle. So that's been removed as well. Overall refresh of the website. We started it before the new year. Okay, the price remains at $55,000. We're working towards fleet customers. We don't communicate through them to them through our website. So our sales team is doing this every day. So they are working and they are selling. Just because this website is down, it just said that this would be completed this year. Would be completed, this update on the website. Anyway, the thing is, this has all been removed. It implies that there's going to be some changes to the website anyway, and perhaps the specs of the Endurance are down, and also the comparison to the ICE F-150. Perhaps they're going to compare it to the EV 150, or perhaps the specs have changed. But right now we're just looking at tea leaves. What this is about is a redesign of the website. Okay, here we're at the Lordstown website, and this is the specifications page. Yeah, they have the same skateboard up with the same motor configuration. They have this, you see, now this is where they've removed all the F-150 comparisons. This is what is on the website now. So it looks like we're going to have the hub motors are going to remain. The basic skateboard is going to remain. Again, they're going to be comparing it to something. They're going to be comparing it to nothing. We don't know. But the overall comparison to the F-150 ICE vehicle is not there. I'd like to see an update comparing it to the F-150 fleet vehicle, because the Endurance is a much better vehicle. Okay, bit of news there. Okay, this is the local guy that keeps shooting the videos of the shipping containers in the parking lot at Lordstown Motors. This is his latest video. I have stopped it here. I'll put a link to the video in the description. The thing is, there's thousands of shipping containers, okay? And this has started, I mean, basically, as soon as the Foxconn sale was announced, there's been thousands of shipping containers. Now, the first batch of shipping containers, a lot of them were identified by a local, according to comments on my website, as going to the Iridium battery plant. So they were labeled Iridium uh, which is next door to Lordstown, which is a massive pouch battery facility that General Motors is building along with LG Chem. I think it's a $2.3 billion project. They're already hiring people for it to train them to run it. The shell of the building's done. Those other shipping containers were in place right after the Foxconn deal was announced. Some of them may have been for Lordstown, but the news I had was a lot of them were marked for the battery plant. Now, this is yet another set. And this, the video, the reason I'm not playing the full video is it's very snowy. It's very hard to see. Let me see if I can perhaps go through and find a good spot here. You see, it's pretty hard to really see. See if this is better. No, you see what I mean. Anyway, the point is, there's a lot of stuff going on at Lordstown, at least in the parking lot. Now, obviously, they were sharing this parking lot with General Motors, and General Motors is a stockholder of Lordstown. By the way, everybody's talking about these insider sales. To my knowledge, GM has not sold, and they own 5%. Okay, so think about that. Anyway, we're just speculating here. I mentioned in my comments, I believe the Endurance line is completely built out. I think Schmidt had that thing ready to go. I don't believe there's anything there. Now, could these be for the Fisker, what is it, the orange 25K EV they're supposed to be building there? I don't know if that's finalized, but they could be putting in specialized equipment for that. This also could be some equipment to bolster the battery pack assembly line, as well as the hub motor manufacturing line, which the last series of reports we had on it from Lordstown was that it was up, running, certified, but was not built out to full capacity. But a lot of activity. This parking lot, I have driven by this facility in the past. It's gigantic. The whole facility is gigantic. I mean, it takes you literally, if you drive around the backside of this facility, it's a half hour. I mean, it's crazy. And this parking lot is, I can't even describe to you how big it is. So anyway, a lot of activity at the plant. Again, Lordstown saying nothing because of the SEC and the DOJ. And you know what? I agree with that. I think that's a great strategy. Don't give the shorts and don't give these horrible people any opportunities. This truck, I'm going to put a link, and I'm going to put my hand up here so I remember to put this link here. I just did a video on Tesla. The Endurance, in my opinion, is one of the few trucks that's going to sneak in and sneak some market share from Tesla, also from GM, also from Ford in the fleet market. In my opinion, I'm going to put a link to that. Anyway, I'm just going to roll this a little bit just to show you how much stuff, and you really can't envision this. The other video he posted was better, but in the snow and so forth. But I got to tell you, this is a lot of stuff in the parking lot. All right. This is a recent court decision that was brought up by this horrible, this local website is really jam-packed with crap. Anyway, this is January 26th. Court orders Lordstown Motors to pay $2.5 million for breach of contract. This is over a company that was running a wastewater treatment plant. $2.5 million judgment. Okay. When DTE Lordstown filed a civil complaint, according to the lawsuit, DTE Lordstown agreed to offer utility services to Lordstown Motors project site, utility complex, and wastewater treatment plant in exchange for monthly payments from Lordstown. So this has to do with water treatment and so on, and kind of sewer bills and so forth. According to the lawsuit, Lordstown Motors explained the company had gotten behind on payments due to its fundraising efforts being delayed. And I believe this was around when the horrible fake Hindenburg report came out. Anyway, they paid back some of what was owed. 2.3 million of the charges, so this is what's left outstanding. 2.3 million of the charges was for a so-called termination fee. So in other words, they paid the bill. If you remember, they were late on this bill. It was a thing. What this lawsuit is about is they've sued for this, this massive termination fee. Lordstown has they've got a judgment against them, and they've asked for a stay of execution and appeal. Okay, so in other words, they were late on this bill. I think there was, they said fundraising at the time. I think they said that it was an oversight. Whatever it was, they paid it, but this involves a onerous termination fee, which they're fighting, and I don't blame them. So that's the latest legal news from Lordstown. Thank goodness. That's pretty benign. Okay, now this is a FUD piece that came out. Simply Wall Street, whoever these guys are. Another FUD piece on market cap. Insiders who sold 22 million worth of stock were able to offset their losses. Now, I just want to, some of the people that left, Schmidt, Burns, and so forth, of course, they sold their stock. They left the company. Perhaps they didn't agree with the changes. Whatever the case may be, that's their right to do. I don't think they were technically insiders at that time. They were outside the company. Now, let's just talk. I'm just going to talk about the last person that brought up this issue. And it was the new council that was appointed to Lordstown. And they made a big deal that as soon as she was put in place, she sold her stock. I want to make a correction, and I'm going to give you my opinion on this. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a financial advisor, but I've gone through the issue, and this is my opinion on it. What they have done in that case with this most recent executive appointment, they've done. She did not sell that stock. That stock was not issued to her. In lieu of that stock being issued to her, she basically was given like a $70,000 credit towards payroll taxes and other tax liabilities she's going to face. So the issuer, and this is plain as day, and I have this in one of my previous videos on Lordstown here, but I just want to reiterate it. The issuer did not issue the stock. Now, you got to understand, in my opinion, this is financial gymnastics from Lordstown. The volume is low on the stock. The price is low on the stock. Q's View did a very good video about delisting. They want to keep the price stock up. Of course, they're going to come up with some financial gymnastics so that stock is not issued. Because if that stock goes on the market, with the low volume that LMC, that the ride stock has right now, it's going to be a big blip on the radar screen. And then if that chunk of stock is sold, so, at the price then was probably $2 a share, $70,000 worth of stock, that's 35,000 shares of stock. That's going to be enough volume to affect the price of the stock. It's going to lower the price of the stock if that chunk goes on the market to be sold. So rather than have that happen, rather than issue the stock, dilute the stockholders, lower the price of the stock in that matter and then have it go on the market and have it be sold, and again lower the stock in that manner when the stock is trading at $2 a share. They chose not to issue the stock. They issued this payment in lieu of that stock. So, the outsider, this is fun. Okay, this is fun. Burns and Schmidt and the other people that left, they're not insiders. Okay, there were insider sales before, but these guys are allowed to be. This is a high risk operation. They're allowed to do insider sales. Um, you know, for many of these guys, you got to understand, as a former headhunter, this could be like a suicide mission for some of these guys. This is very risky to join this operation. Should it fail entirely, I do not believe it will. It would very much hamper their careers. They have to do their own personal financial planning. I do not fault any present insider from selling shares. I understand the financial aspect, but this most recent thing that came out about the new council immediately getting the job, getting the options, and then selling them immediately, FUD, it's not true. Okay? And as I mentioned in the other section of this video, GM owns 5%. They're not selling. Think about it. Maybe they know something we don't know. Okay? Hi, this is MXUX. I just want to try to put a quick summary on this. There's some construction going on. Let's hope we can get this done beforehand. All right. We got breadcrumbs here. We got nothing coming out of Lordstown. They mentioned the redesign. I've seen in the comments some people think the truck's being redesigned. The website is what is mentioned as being designed, okay? And they're saying that they don't usually, they're pitching to fleet customers. Their salespeople are outside and fleet customers, so the website isn't where the customers are getting all the information. Anyway, I'm just going to go through some of the possible redesigns here just briefly. I think they were comparing it to a F-150 ICE. I think maybe they're going to change that comparison to a F-150 Lightning. So head-to-head costs, so on and so forth, for the Lightning Pro model. I think charge times versus the Ford and the Silverado is something they can stress. Certainly, weight. There's all kind of advantages that they're missing comparing it to the F-150 ICE. As far as the solid rear axle, I mean, if they go head to head with the electric versions, it's going to be much better. There's no changes to the tech mentioned or indicated because they've left up the hubs and the skateboard. In my opinion, possible change would be the battery type, size, range, that sort of thing. So, they could make the battery pack bigger. I don't know. They could change the battery chemistry. Again, to make the battery pack bigger or add a secondary battery pack. I don't know, long range option, or increase the range, or announce a range change. This would be really great if they could do that. If they've got EPA testing that shows the range at 300, with the added regen from the hub motors, that would be great. So that's what I think is going on with that. The parking lot containers, the past ones were identified in my comments by some people local there that they had the GM Ultium logo on them. And that's what a lot of them were for. Nobody's been in there to see exactly what they are, but that's what at least some of the past ones were. I do believe the endurance assembly line at GM at Lordstown is complete. They could be part of the hub battery line build out because they are going to have to bring that up for mass production. So there could be some of that. Perhaps the Fisker pair build out could be involved here because they may be building a whole new line for a Fisker pair. I don't think that's going to run on the same line with the Endurance. It would go to the same paint shop, but the assembly line would be different. It would be on those little carts that roll around autonomously. Perhaps that's it. I have down here perhaps LMC subcomponents, let's say seating, but I don't believe that's the case. I don't think they're going to tie up OPEX in inventory sitting in a parking lot. I think they're going to use just-in-time inventory. So it's either GM or Fisker are the majority of the containers. I think the rest are the expansion of the hub and battery line. Could be wrong. We have no way of knowing, but I think there's certainly some GM or Fisker in there, and some hub battery line, which they're building out. Now the Endurance redesign. This was mentioned in the comments I had that they were going to redesign the Endurance. I don't think it's hinted or implied. Like I said, the battery maybe. I don't believe the body is going to be changed. I could be wrong. Again, if there's one change, I think it would be the battery size, range improvements, publication of range improvements, type of battery, more efficient battery, so forth. Another redesign, which could be announced related to the battery, is a vehicle-to-grid capability as being standard. This would be differentiate them from the Silverado and the Ford Lightning. This would allow them to sell electricity back, turn the truck into an asset. As a fleet, it would be a big storage battery for the grid. It would be able to sell electricity back to the grid. This would turn the Endurance into actually a cash generating asset as well as a fleet truck. Anyway, that most of the changes I would think would be battery related. I think this V2G, which I do believe the Endurance is capable of, or easily being made capable of, is something that might be, should be coming, might be coming. And then finally, the financial information that I gathered here. The lawsuit is a nothing burger. I think they're trying to negotiate the severance fee. That bill supposedly was forgotten. I don't know if that was a cash flow problem initially. The bill has been paid. There is a fee for exiting that contract. I think that Foxconn has entered into a new contract, and this is onerous. I mean, it's really big. It's like bigger than the bill. I think they're trying to negotiate that down. Insider stock sales, as I mentioned, not a sale. So it's FUD. And I think in general we have to wait for the earnings call to get more information, financial information. So that's the status is on ride right here with this news update. I hope you like it. I am bullish. As I said, I got a skinny bull on this. And let's wait for that earnings call. Thanks a lot. This is MXUX.